In this video, I demonstrate the use of gesture drawing to quickly block out a composition and capture the basic forms of a still life before moving on to adding details. So this is the still life I set up and I'm currently looking at. I'm warming up with a 30-second gesture drawing of the still life I set up. I try to draw the basic shapes of the object first. So I look for those simple geometric forms and I block out the major spaces they take up. I look for landmark points where corners are in relation to one another. I look for the direction and angle of edges where objects overlap and by how much, how high on the page the baseline or bottom of each object is, and where the tops of the objects fall in comparison to one another. You want all parts of your drawing to progress at the same rate. Now I'm starting my 40-second sketch. Make sure you pay attention to what I'm doing when I draw. Gesture drawings should have a sense of speed and immediacy. My whole arm is moving from my shoulder and my whole body is engaged. My eyes are on the still life about half of the time. I try to spend more time looking at the objects than I do at my paper whenever possible. If you want to make good drawings, you have to make bad ones. It's part of the learning process. So don't feel afraid, just go in there and quickly sketch out those basic forms you see. I did 2 more quick gesture drawings just to get a feel for how fast I had to move and get the basic composition down pat. And then I started a longer gesture sketch. This is a 60-second sketch, so I know my time now and how long I have. You'll see I'm using my pencil here to check the angle of the top of that cube, which is the tissue box. And I'm a little bit more slow and deliberate about where I place that because I know I have 60 seconds for this sketch. As I move into the cylinder here, keep paying attention to my arm. Again, my whole shoulder is moving. I'm not just drawing from my wrist. Here I'm checking the baselines to make sure I'm putting the top of the cone-shaped vase at the right height in relation to the bottom of the cylinder and the top and bottom of that particular face of the cube. And now I'm checking the overlap of the peach in front of that vase. So my gesture sketch is done, my 60-second sketch. And I decided this one was ready to continue to add details. So what I'm doing here took about 7-8 minutes to do, but I made this faster for you to watch. And what I'm doing is essentially I'm sculpting my drawing. I'm adding little pushes here, pushing and pulling the shapes out, and I'm tucking them in and pinching them in other areas to create a more detailed outline. Lastly, in the future, we'll get to cover shading. However, for today, I just wanted you to see the gesture and sketching portion, but this is my finished shaded still life.